Welcome back. My name is Redeemed Nomad, aka Roaming, also go by Omni. Here today I got another good video for you. Actually, I have a whole bunch. As you can see, I made a couple of sticky notes here going over particularly the topic of Jesus' divinity and the Trinity. They are very complementary. It's very difficult to separate the two. This is only half of the things that I'm going to be talking about today. So yeah, expect 3 more videos plus after this. How Jesus is God, how is the Trinity is possible, what does confirm, what does it negate, what is the case, right? It's very extensive. There's a lot actually. There's about in total 50 passages. Just even with one passage, it's so compacted with so much things that really validate and explains in a very intricate way. Now, before I do so, let me just bring up examples to understand this concept. Now, the Trinity is something that has been foreshadowed even in the Old Testament. What it is essentially, just to put it in practical terms, is 3 persons, 1 God. Now, you do hear a lot of analogies and examples to tie in to make it simpler to understand certain concepts, but I just want to say a little disclaimer here. First and foremost, the Trinity is something that can be addressed practically and impractical. Since God is the living embodiment of eternity, the Trinity can be explained in such a way that forever, in order to understand every intricate detail about the Trinity. It is associated with God, and since God is eternal, that means it will just go on forever and forever. So you can rationalize certain difficult concepts when it comes to the Trinity, but we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to stick with exegesis. The theology, it expands more on it. You can get really good insight about it. I'm going to use my own personal examples. Here are 2 that fits best. It's more formed compared to other examples because they do tend to lend to heresy, and it's very difficult to explain the Trinity because the Trinity in its entirety, there's nothing like it. You can't compare it to something else and be like, okay, this is a good example, because it fails to embody certain aspects of the Trinity altogether in its entirety. So we're just gonna stick with the personhood and godhood. You can use several examples. You might hear of water, ice, and gas, stuff like that. I'll just like to stick with us and God just to make it more concise. So I got 2 examples for you. So for the first example, you can imagine that you can use yourself an example. For instance, I am a son of my mother. I am married, so I have a wife, and I have siblings. And we'll just talk about my brother just to keep it short. Each of those person, I address them differently, and in their minds, they address me differently. So how I address my mom is not the same way I address my brother, and I love them distinctly, and in their minds, they love me distinctly in their own manner. So it's a mutual understanding that we are the same in essence and in nature. We're both human beings, but I am so distinct in their mind, and I'm distinct from the other person's mind. The 2 examples I brought, my mother and my brother, they know me as different persons. My brother won't know me as his son, and my mother will not know me as my brother. And you just add your wife, and over there I can see that from just a basic thing, no matter what kind of person I am dealing with, addressing, or speaking to, or familiar with, exists distinctly in their mind and as well as theirs. So notice how that none of these personhood, my brother, my mother, and my wife, doesn't take away from me being the same being. I'm still the same nomad. I'm still Omni at the end of the day. Now, if I were to introduce something else, it still doesn't take away from my being. For instance, I'm expecting my daughter soon. I'm going to be a father of my child, and at the same time I'm still the son of my mother, who is, I'm fortunate enough to have both parents. There is a good example of how if God were to be addressed son, father, they have some interaction with each other, it doesn't mean that they cease being one being and now we get multiple beings. So as I am a creation, right, I am based off of the image of God, and if I can have children, I could be children of somebody, why can't God do the same? So here's another example how to understand the Trinity, because even though I could resemble some aspect of the Trinity, personhood, I can't do entirely like the Godhood. I cannot be omnipotent, neither are you. You can't be multiple places at once. So when we read about Matthew 26, which is something I will go in depth in a future video, you get to see the Son and the Father have this interaction that's a clear-cut example of omnipresent. God is speaking with God distinctly, the Son, the Father, and having this communication and proving in front of us by leading example, and of course how it is to have this relationship with God, and furthermore that He is proving that they have the same will. I can't do the same. I cannot speak with somebody at the same, well, not just somebody. I can't speak to my very same being, me. And in another aspect, I can't talk to my past self right now. For instance, this example would be I was 15, I will be 30, and I will be 45 later on in the future. They vary a lot. There's so many distinctions. They vary in physiology, emotionally, wisdom, maturity, and so forth and so forth. Even the outside, the 15, 30, and 45 versions of myself, even though they're the same being, they have enough distinction to share some part of the personhood. Unfortunately, I can't interact with my 15-year-old self or 45-year-old self to give you more metaphysical properties when it comes to the Trinity. But just to keep it in practical terms, there's two examples where either I'm addressing somebody else and in their mind they're addressing me, or even just myself, how I get to have very defining distinctions between 15, 30, and 45. The Trinity is not really a difficult concept. God just takes that and just brings it to another level. So when you are confused, how can God can interact with in such a manner? Well, he's not tied to time, matter, nor space. Since he is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, he can manifest physically and spiritually and be multiple places at once, present regardless if you accept him or not. When you receive him, he dwells inside of you. In order for that to be possible, that's a clear-cut example of how he could be omnipresent. I mean, what other being can be here, there, multiple, not just like a finite number of instances. I probably would have to end the video here because if I go into it, it'd probably be up to 30 minutes. I don't think I need to explain anything else. You could show this to somebody who wants to grab a sincere understanding of the Trinity. There are verses to prove it. I'll get that in the next one in the following after, because it explains certain aspects. There's some familiarity. Jesus does accept and explain in a very intricate way how it is possible, and if you pay attention reading between the lines, it's very present. That even makes slight references in the Old Testament. Yeah, that's pretty much I got for you today. I don't think I need to add anything more, so I'll just do a quick outro, right? As always, there's my links, my Instagram, my Discord, my art page. My art page is not only is something to help this ministry, but helps out other stuff as well. As always, it's not obligated nor expected, but widely appreciated. And also, I'm working on other stuff, so I definitely do plan to become more interactive, more consistent with this, because I took weird hiatuses and it's very difficult because every time I want to do something like this, good Bible studies, things get in the way. So give me feedback as well. Comment down below if I not make something clear. So I have questions, and feel free to reach out to me either by the comment below or just reach out to me. I don't bite. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if you like to share some insight that I have yet to talk about, please share with me. Let's be more intuitive with each other. I think that's it, right? I have nothing else to say. Also, before I forget, there is this one Discord that I'm a part of. It's called Disciplined Disciples. We go read daily about 3 chapters a day. It's been active for at least almost a year now, and we're just going by 3 chapters from beginning to end, and we just briefly talk about. If you'd like to participate, I suggest you go and join my server as well to get more deep doctrine, because what I really want to do with these videos is give a firm understanding how God is, for how he presents himself and how he's preached. Because if you don't get familiar with this, it could be very damaging, especially it causes you to have doubt. Grab the notes in my description. It's on my Discord as well. You can ask me anything. I also post up weekly Ask Me Anythings, right, or frequently asked questions and Q&As, whatever you like to call it. So yeah, I normally do them Saturdays. I'll probably do them like 3 times a week, if not 2. Gotta have to schedule all this and do videos and stuff like that. So that's everything. I got everything for this video. I have nothing else to say except, as always, take care and stay. Did you pray today? I can get down, no